Frank Caprio opened the file. Looked, frowned, looked again. "Miguel Santos?" Frank said, adjusting his glasses. "Yes, sir." A young voice, very young. Frank looked up, and standing before him was a child, maybe 14 years old, maybe younger, about 4 feet 11 inches, baby face, but wearing construction clothes, way too big, very dirty, hard hat under his arm. Frank looked at the file again. Miguel Santos, age 21, works at Santos Construction, charged with using fake ID. Frank looked at Miguel. "Miguel, are you 21? "Yes, sir, I'm 21. The courtroom fell silent, because everyone could see this kid was maximum 14 years old. Frank tried to smile. "Miguel, can you show me your ID?" "Sure, sir." Miguel pulled a plastic card from his pocket, handed it over proudly. Frank took it, examined it, and his eyes widened. "Miguel, where'd you get this ID?" "My friend made it, sir." "How old's your friend?" 15. The courtroom laughed. Frank tried not to laugh, but couldn't help it. "Okay, Miguel," Frank said, holding up the ID. "Let's show everyone this." Linda put the ID on the courtroom screen, and everyone saw. Photo. Clearly a 12-year-old child. Birth date, 2004, but handwritten, with ballpoint pen. Height, 6 feet 2 inches, 188 centimeters. Miguel's clearly 4 feet 11 inches, 150 centimeters. License class, super driver. Frank laughed out loud. "Miguel, super driver? That's not a real license class." "I know, sir, but my friend thought it looked good." "And here," Frank examined the ID closely. "Look, there's an ink smudge, and this isn't the Rhode Island seal. This is drawn with marker." The courtroom kept laughing. Miguel was embarrassed, but still standing tall. "Okay, Miguel," Frank got serious. "Now tell me the truth. How old are you?" Miguel hesitated. 21? Miguel. Okay, 19? Miguel. 16? Miguel. Frank hit the desk. Real age. Miguel lowered his head, quietly. 14. 14, as I thought. Frank leaned back. "Now tell me, why'd you make a fake ID? Why didn't you go to school? What's going on?" And Miguel's story began. But it wasn't funny anymore. "Sir," Miguel spoke slowly. My family's hungry. My mom's sick. I have little brothers, Mario and Carlos, 9 and 11 years old, and no dad. He left 3 years ago. Mexico. Didn't come back." "So you're the oldest?" "Yes, sir. And someone needs to make money. Mom has diabetes. Medicine's very expensive. $400 a month. We applied for Medicaid, but complicated. English not good. Paperwork, very hard." Frank nodded. "I understand. So why'd you quit school?" "Because, sir, school needs money. School lunch $3.50 every day. My brothers and me, $10.50 daily. $52.50 weekly. We can't pay. And we're hungry. Teachers know, but they don't do anything." Frank's face reddened. "Teachers know and don't help?" "One teacher, one day, gave me her lunch. Miss Johnson. But she can't give every day. She has her own family." "So when did you start working?" 6 months ago. Santos Construction. Mr. Carlos offered me job." "You look strong," he said. "How old?" I said 14. He said, "Too young. But if you find ID, I'll give you job." "And your friend made fake ID?" "Yes, sir. $20. Bad, but Mr. Carlos didn't look closely, because he wanted cheap worker." "How many hours per day did you work?" Miguel hesitated. 8 hours? Frank looked at the file. "Miguel, documents say 12 hours, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., right?" "Yes, sir, 12 hours." Frank stood up. "Linda, please call Mr. Carlos Santos, owner of Santos Construction. Summoned to court, now." 20 minutes later, Carlos Santos entered, 45 years old, looking angry. Your Honor, I'm very busy. Got a site on the west side. Why am I here? Sit down, Mr. Santos. Frank's voice was stern. You employed a child. What? Who? Frank pointed to Miguel. Miguel, 14 years old. Carlos looked, then quickly. No. He told me he was 21. Showed ID. Frank held up the fake ID. This ID? Carlos swallowed. Yes? Mr. Santos, hold on. Sit. Now I'm going to show this on the screen. Frank signaled Linda. ID came on screen. Look, Frank pointed. Photo, clearly a child. Birth date, handwritten, with marker. Super driver license class, not real. Height 6 feet 2 inches, but Miguel's 4 feet 11 inches. And you thought this was real? The courtroom laughed. Carlos's face turned red. I didn't look that closely. Was busy. Lots of work. Too busy? Frank leaned forward. Mr. Santos, employing child labor is federal crime. Fair Labor Standards Act. Do you know? I didn't know he was child. Hold on. You didn't look. Because you didn't want to. Because Miguel was cheap, right? How much did you pay per hour? $8. $8. What does adult worker want? $20. 25. Exactly. But child works for $8 and doesn't complain. Because scared. Family needs money, and you knew that. Carlos stayed quiet. Now, Mr. Santos, tell me, does Miguel have wage records? Yes. Has Social Security deduction? No. Tax deduction? No. Health insurance? No, sir. Frank nodded. So Miguel worked off the books, 6 months, 72 hours weekly, 14 years old, in construction, dangerous heights, carrying heavy materials? Yes, sir. And you say didn't know? Carlos lowered his head. No answer. Frank leaned back. Okay, here's my decision. First, Mr. Santos, your decision. First, you'll pay Miguel all unpaid wages. I'm calculating. Frank writing on paper. 72 hours weekly. But legally, after 40 hours is overtime, extra pay, 1.5 times rate. So 32 hours overtime, $12 per hour. You should have paid Miguel $896 weekly, but you paid $576. Difference, $320 weekly. 6 months, 24 weeks. Total debt. Linda used calculator. $7,680. $7,680. Plus late fees, $820. Total $8,500. To be paid to Miguel this week. Carlos's mouth dropped. What? $8,500? I don't have that much. That's your problem. Get a loan, sell equipment, but you'll pay. Second, I'm reporting you to Rhode Island Department of Labor. Child labor law violations. They'll deal with you. Penalty can be $10,000 to $50,000. Carlos's face went white. And third, Frank smiled. For the first time, you'll be Miguel's education sponsor. What do you mean? Miguel's returning to school, East Providence High School. But school requires money. Books, supplies, uniform, lab fees. You'll pay for these every year until Miguel graduates. But that's $2,000 to $3,000 yearly. Right, and you'll pay, because you stole Miguel's childhood. 6 months he worked in construction. Dangerous place. Instead of school, now you'll give it back, through education. Carlos tried to object. But, stop, I'm not finished. Frank's voice softened, switched to funny tone. And fourth, Miguel's lunch, every day, you'll pay. The courtroom laughed. Even Miguel smiled. Lunch? Carlos was surprised. Yes, because when Miguel worked in construction, he never got lunch break. Worked hungry. Now at school, he'll eat hot meals every day. With your money, $3.50 daily. You calculate. And fifth, Frank's voice softened more. Miguel's brothers. Mario and Carlos, 9 and 11 years old. They'll also enter free school lunch program. I'm calling East Providence School District today." The courtroom applauded. "Now, Miguel," Frank turned. "Your decisions." Miguel looked anxiously. "Am I getting punishment, sir?" "Yes, but different punishment." "What, sir?" Frank looked with serious face. "You will go to school." The courtroom laughed. Miguel was surprised. "School?" "Yes, every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., and you'll attend classes, do homework, take exams. If you don't go..." Frank smiled. "I'll call you back to court, and punishment more serious." "Yes, sir, I'll go." "Good. And my second decision, you'll show me your report card." "Report card?" "Yes, every semester. You'll bring your report card here. I'll check your grades. If your grades are bad, we'll talk. If good, I'll congratulate you." Miguel both surprised and happy. You'll check my grades?" "Yes, because I want you to be an engineer. You told me you want to design safe buildings. Then you need good grades. Math, science, engineering." "Math is my favorite, sir." "Perfect. Then no problem. And my third decision," Frank in joking tone. "You won't make fake IDs anymore." Everyone laughed. "But Miguel," Frank continued, "if you do, don't, but if you did, at least do it better. No handwriting. Use Photoshop. Don't write SuperDriver." The courtroom laughed. Miguel blushed but was laughing. "Okay, sir, I understand. Won't do it again." "Good." Frank stood up, turned to the courtroom. "Now listen. Because this isn't just Miguel's problem. This is a system problem. In Rhode Island, how many children work like Miguel? We don't know, because off the books, but we estimate hundreds, maybe thousands. Immigrant families, Latino, Asian, African, Portuguese, here in Rhode Island, our neighbors, families poor, and children work to help. And the system can't protect them. Why? Because budget insufficient, staff few, and most families scared, don't report." Frank opened phone. "Linda, connect me to Maria Rodriguez, Family Services Director." Few seconds later, speaker mode. "Maria, this is Judge Caprio." "Good morning, Your Honor." "Maria, urgent case. Miguel Santos, 14 years old, child worker, worked 6 months in construction, family in poverty. Mother needs Medicaid. Brothers need school lunch. What can you do?" "I understand. Give address. We'll visit this week." "Thank you. But Maria, listen. This isn't just Miguel. This is system problem. How many more children in Rhode Island? We must find, must help." "You're right. What do you suggest?" "I'm starting a campaign. Kids to school. Stop child labor, support families, hold employers accountable." "Great idea. How can I help?" "First Miguel's family, then others. Help with Medicaid application, register for school lunch, and find every child. Each one goes to school." "Agreed. Starting now." Frank hung up, then opened again. "Linda, Department of Education. Call Dr. Wilson." Few seconds. "Dr. Wilson, Judge Caprio." "Good morning, Your Honor." "Dr. Wilson, Miguel Santos?" "Your East Providence High School District, 14 years old. Didn't go to school for 6 months. Did school notice?" Silence. "I need to check." "Dr. Wilson, hold on. Miguel's brothers, 9 and 11 years old, sometimes don't go to school because they're hungry, can't pay for school lunch, teachers know, but don't help. Why?" "Your Honor, we have free lunch program. You have it, but it doesn't work because families don't know, or afraid to apply, or paperwork too complex. And result? Children hungry and not going to school." "I understand." "Dr. Wilson, here's what you'll do. Register Miguel's brothers in free lunch program this week and visit Miguel's school. How many more students like Miguel? Find out. Help." "Agreed, Your Honor." Frank hung up, looked at courtroom. "See? That's the problem. System is reactive, not proactive. We wait for children to experience crisis. Then we help, but that's too late. Now all of you will learn something. Fair Labor Standards Act, passed in 1938, federal law. It says, children under 16 cannot work full-time, only part-time, outside school hours, in light work. Children under 18 cannot work in dangerous jobs. Construction is dangerous. Miguel, 14 years old, worked in construction. This is 2 law violations. Employers must verify age documents. If fake documents used, employer responsible, because verification is their duty. If violated, employer gets penalty. First violation, $10,000. Second violation, $50,000. Third violation, jail. And unpaid wages paid 2 times. In Miguel's case, $8,500. Why do these laws exist? To protect children. Because children should go to school, get education, build future, not buildings, future. Frank turned to Miguel. Miguel, you told me you want to design safe buildings because you saw danger in construction, falling workers, breaking equipment. Yes, sir. Well, do you know what's needed to be engineer? University, MIT, Stanford, Caltech. And to get there, what's needed? Good grades, 4.0 GPA, AP classes, SAT scores. And where will you get these? School, not construction site. School. Miguel nodded, eyes full. Now go, Miguel, to school and work hard, because you'll be an engineer, and one day you'll help another child, just like today I helped you. Thank you, Your Honor. Miguel stood up. I won't disappoint you. 2 years later, Miguel returned to court, but this time not as defendant, as guest. Your Honor, Miguel entered smiling. I brought my report card. Frank stood up. Miguel, welcome. Let's see. Miguel handed over report card. Frank looked. His eyes widened. Miguel, this 4.0 GPA, all A's? Yes, sir. Math A+, Physics A+, Engineering A+, English A, History A. And what's this say? Frank pointed. National Honor Society? Yes, sir. And also I'm math club president and on robotics team. Frank smiled. Miguel, I'm so proud. And sir, Miguel opened his backpack. I want to show you something. Pulled out a notebook from engineering class. Opened it. A bridge design, detailed, professional. This is my final project, safe bridge design for workers, wide platforms, railings, safety nets. Because I worked in construction, saw dangers, and I don't want any child, any person to die while working. Frank's eyes filled. Miguel, this is incredible. And my teacher said this is the best project. I can use it for college applications. College applications? Where? Miguel smiled. MIT and Stanford and Caltech. All of them. And your chances? My teacher said very good, because my story, interesting, from child worker to engineer. Frank hugged Miguel. Miguel, you won't just be an engineer. You'll be a leader. I hope so, sir. And one more thing. Miguel wiped his eyes. Mom is better now. Medicaid approved, getting free medicine, diabetes under control, and found a job. Caregiving, part-time, $15 an hour. But flexible, can work from home. Great. And my brothers, going to school, every day, eating free lunch. Mario entered math competition. Carlos plays trumpet in school band. And Mr. Santos, Miguel hesitated. He's still paying $8,500 in installments, and every year pays my school expenses, books, supplies. This year he paid $2,400. Good. And sir, he doesn't employ children anymore. None. Because he's scared. And maybe he learned a little. Frank smiled. I hope so. Miguel, do you know about Kids to School campaign? Yes, sir. I saw poster at school and commercial on TV. Good. Because after your story, we took action. Rhode Island General Assembly passed new law, Child Labor Protection Act. Really? Yes. According to law, under 16, full-time prohibited. Employers must verify age documents. If fake documents used, employer responsible. Violation, $50,000 penalty. All schools must offer free lunch. And result? 500+ children returned to school. Families found support. Employers think twice. Miguel cried. Happy tears. I caused this? You inspired it. Your story woke people up, and system changed. Sir, I don't know how to thank you. Frank smiled. Be an engineer, and one day help another child. That's the best thanks. Frank turned to the courtroom, spoke one last time. Miguel's story is the American dream story. A child started with nothing. Hungry family, sick mother, no school, dangerous work, no future. But he was given a chance. A system changed, and he fought. 2 years later, he's GPA 4.0, National Honor Society, MIT application, becoming engineer. This is possible because we're in America. Here, where you're from doesn't matter. Where you're going matters. But remember this, system isn't perfect. Still hundreds of Miguels, working instead of school, hungry, scared. Your turn. You see a child, working, looks tired. What do? Ignore or report? 1-866-4-USWAGE, Child Labor Hotline. Save it, use it. Because every child, like Miguel, deserves a chance, has right to education, has right to future. And we, as America, are responsible for protecting every child. Frank looked at Miguel one last time. Miguel, go and shine. Thank you, sir. I'll make you proud. And Miguel left the courtroom. No longer child worker, student, leader, future engineer. And Frank watched, smiling, because today a life changed, a future saved, and the American dream lived.